I'd like to introduce you to Steve Shives. Steve Shives has been a YouTuber for many years. Steve Shives has changed the way he does his YouTube channel. No one seems to understand why. He's gone from a reasonable person to a full-blown leftist.
Treats this as some sort of unsolvable problem, as though they have no idea what to do.
Now, conservative YouTubers have been very critical of Steve Shives, and to be fair, they have every single right to do it. I've seen many of these videos and they are bloody cringy.
Op-ed published today in the New York Times. This is it right here. It's called "What Snowflakes Get Right About Free Speech," and it's by Ulrich Baer, and I cannot recommend it to you highly enough.
Now, before I carry on with this video, I think it's only fair that I show you what Steve was like approximately about 6-7 years ago, I think it is now. A totally different person.
Instinct to just silence unpopular voices, to quiet, mute all the dissonant notes is very troubling to me, and it's something that should really be beneath us. It's beneath the dignity of a free society to treat each other this way. We don't have to silence those voices. We can give them their opportunity in the public forum to say whatever they want, and then we can answer them. That should be the American expression of freedom of speech.
Now let me show you exactly what Steve Shives is today.
In the piece, Ulrich Baer describes how the student protesters who have come out to stand against speakers such as Milo Yiannopoulos or Richard Spencer.
Nothing wrong with stand against, nothing wrong with protest. Rioting? That's something else. Shall we show him, Steve?
Wednesday night, forcing officials at the school to cancel the appearance of a right-wing speaker and writer for Breitbart News. University police placed the campus on lockdown and ordered protesters to disperse. Many remained to celebrate the cancellation of the talk. Others wore masks, threw what appeared to be fireworks and smoke bombs, then started fires.
These students who have often been attacked and vilified by people on the right as being anti-free speech or putting their own feelings and their own sensitivities ahead of stalwart principles of the republic like free speech are snowflakes, and they just need to be silenced or shamed into going back to their dorms and studying instead of going out and hitting the streets and protesting people like Spencer or Yiannopoulos. Baer argues really persuasively and really articulately that it is actually those folks, the so-called snowflakes, who are the true champions of free speech, not the apologists and the defenders of Spencer and Yiannopoulos and all of the other assorted deplorable people, the hate mongers and purveyors of ignorance and intolerance.
Just look at these pictures. Who's being the intolerant? Is it Shapiro? Is it Milo? Is it any other conservative speaker that wants to speak on a university campus? Or is it these people? The so-called heroes that this guy believes, Steve believes that they're heroes. These are the people that don't like diversity of thought. So really, who are the fascists here? The conservative speakers? Or the people that are writing?
And in this piece, Baer covers a lot of really interesting ground. He talks about the limited value of debates in situations like this. He talks about the idea that there are certain topics that really shouldn't be held up for public debate, that universities shouldn't feel a responsibility to host debates over. If there is a proposed debate or a proposed sort of implied debate, which is often the excuse used when awful people like Spencer and Yiannopoulos and others of their ilk are invited to speak at college campuses, the excuse made by people who, even by people who claim not to want to defend their ideology, they say, well, we need to hear them out because their ideas need to be heard in order
The right, not just legally, but personally, to say things that we feel need to be said, even if other people will find them absolutely horrific or stupid or offensive or wrong. We all have the right to speak, and we should all extend to each other that right, just the same as we would like to have it extended to us. It's the only way a free society can function, and it is the highest expression of who we are as ourselves and of the essential ideal of freedom of expression.
Bear also points out how the abilities of folks in marginalized groups, for instance, trans people, people of color, undocumented immigrants, and the list goes on, have been attacked and undermined by others in the name of freedom of speech.
Steve suggests that somehow freedom of speech is violence. Freedom of speech is inspiring violence, where in fact that's where freedom of speech stops. No one's inciting violence. Milo's not inciting violence. Shapiro's not inciting violence. They're just coming out with factual statements. If you want to debate those statements to try and prove them wrong, then the only way you're going to do it is by having them on stage. Ciao, everyone.
Instinct to just silence unpopular voices, to quiet, mute all the dissonant notes, is very troubling to me, and it's something that should really be beneath us. It's beneath the dignity of a free society.
Twisted my melon, man. You know he talks over it, man.